Good Thursday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside that weather window. And as advertised, lots of clouds out there this afternoon. Warm temperatures to go along with those clouds. The nice part about today, once again, not much wind, and we did see some scattered showers out there, even a little bit of rumble of thunder around north central Washington. And this is a beautiful shot looking at Lake Wenatchee. And how about that dramatic shot right down at the bottom center of your screen? You can see just a little bit of Kaler Glen Golf Course, and then Lake Wenatchee right behind that. And lots of those dark clouds, and expect that for Friday as well. We have more thunderstorms in our forecast as we get to the end of the week. Most likely those storms will be a little bit to our east. We're not ruling it out though for us here in north central Washington, and some of those impacts as usual with thunderstorms, lightning, gusty winds, and hail. Much more weather coming your way a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. Governor Jay Inslee said at a press conference yesterday that he was concerned whether enough people here are following guidelines for wearing face coverings. We'll tell you what local businesses have had COVID-19 outbreaks. And as the manhunt for a murder suspect in Blewett Pass approaches its third week, the U.S. Marshals Service has now joined in on that search. But first, we begin tonight. It's official. Chillon and Douglas counties are now in a modified Phase 1 recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. It's just a half step in Governor Jay Inslee's 4-phase safe start plan, but it means certain local businesses can reopen with strict limitations to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. The most visible change for businesses in restaurants is allowing indoor seating of up to 25% capacity, provided no tables are closer than 6 feet to each other, and outdoor seating up to 50% capacity, again at 6 feet distance. Also allowed to operate at 25% occupancy, pet groomers, real estate services, and other personal and professional services. The effects of Phase 1.5 won't be immediate, though. Individual businesses must show they can closely follow state guidelines before they open their doors. Chillon and Douglas counties are the second and third counties to achieve a modified Phase 1 status. 24 counties have moved fully into Phase 2. State Secretary of Health John Weissman approved the Chillon-Douglas Health District application last night with conditions. Among them, the district must increase the use of protective masks when residents go out in public and coordinate closely with managers of the fruit industry where large COVID-19 infection clusters have occurred. Any changes in local infection rates or hospitalizations could reverse the gains altogether. Well, shortly before Chillon and Douglas counties were approved to move to Phase 1.5 of Governor Inslee's Safe Start opening plan Wednesday, the governor said at a press conference he was concerned about ag workers in the two counties and whether enough people here are following guidelines for wearing face coverings.
But there are considerations that I believe they're looking at about whether we actually do have adequate protections for agricultural workers. Do we have adequate testing in those facilities where we have had outbreaks? There also needs to be confident that we have the full measures of protection we need, for instance, in using masks. Are people there using masks enough to give us confidence that if we do reopen stores, we're not going to see a large uptick in cases? So I think they're looking at those issues. I believe they'll be talking to some of the leadership in the next day or two about those issues.
May was the biggest month of discovery for new COVID-19 cases here in the Wenatchee Valley, with almost 230 of the total 452 cases identified so far. A document compiled at the end of that month shows how widespread the virus has become through the Chillon and Douglas County workforce. NCWLIFE Jefferson Robbins has the story.
By the end of May, there were more than 400 confirmed COVID-19 infections in the Wenatchee Valley, and a spreadsheet from the Chillon-Douglas Health District shows 181 of them occurred among agricultural employees. But the document obtained by the Northwest Justice Project paints a fuller picture. By May 29th, the virus was scattered throughout the workforce, affecting health workers, school employees, restaurant staff, and even law enforcement. The largest known clusters of infections were amongst the milk growers, farm, and packing employees, a total of 114 by month's end. But there were also 18 cases at Chillon Fruit, working in 4 different locations in Chillon and Wenatchee. There were 10 at McDougall & Sons and 9 at Dovex, which is owned by Stemilt. None of the agricultural firms contacted for this story responded to requests from NCWLIFE. The disease also affected those whose job it is to inspect fruit for health and safety. 4 employees of the State Department of Agriculture were diagnosed with COVID-19 in the first week of May. Department spokesman Hector Castro said they were among 30 agricultural inspectors working in the Wenatchee Valley.
Their role is essentially to inspect produce. They're looking for grade and condition. They conduct those phytosanitary inspections when the produce is bound for export. They work at the processing plants and the warehouses. And of course, we instructed the employees to stay at home until they were symptom-free for 72 hours. And we made sure to contact other employees who may have been in contact with them. And we also notified the facilities where they may have visited to alert them to the situation.
The Wenatchee and Cascade school districts each saw 1 employee contract the virus. There were 2 in the Lake Chillon School District and 3 at Wenatchee Valley College. 9 Confluence Health workers tested positive, plus 4 more at Columbia Valley Community Health. And at the Chillon County Sheriff's Office, 1 employee in the Patrol Division tested positive for coronavirus on April 25th. Sheriff Brian Burnett would not say what the employee's job was, but said that person has since recovered and returned to work. When the case was discovered, he said, the entire Wenatchee office received a thorough disinfectant cleaning. Jefferson Robbins, NCWLIFE.
In other news, as the manhunt for a murder suspect in Blewett Pass approaches its 3rd week, the U.S. Marshals Service has now joined that search. 34-year-old Jorge Alcantara Gonzalez is the largest manhunt in county history. The search has been ongoing since May 23rd, when evidence connected him with the death of missing Kent man Ian Eccles. The body of 41-year-old Eccles has not yet been found, but law enforcement believes he was killed in his own vehicle by Alcantara Gonzalez. A large area of Forest Service and state land continues to be closed during that search. Alcantara Gonzalez is carrying a shotgun, and he was last seen May 26 at the Mineral Springs campground. The sheriff's office said the suspect has burglarized multiple homes and cabins in the area. Though they still believe Alcantara Gonzalez is in the area, the sheriff's office said they enlisted the help of the U.S. Marshals in the event he is no longer in the forest. The Marshals Service has offered a $5,000 reward for information that leads to Alcantara Gonzalez's apprehension. Well, coming up next, local fire crews quickly got a handle yesterday on a brush fire burning 14 miles south of Wenatchee. Traffic was blocked on Highway 2 at Cashmere for about a half an hour Wednesday afternoon after a recreational boat came off its trailer and onto the highway. Representative Dan Newhouse announced the establishment of a Central Washington Law Enforcement Working Group, and President Trump targeted Washington Governor Jay Inslee and Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkin in a pair of tweets Wednesday night, saying they need to take back Seattle from protesters or he'll do it for them. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Nissan is the value leader in new cars and SUVs. Check out these new models starting at under $20,000. The all-new Versa from $17,020. The all-new Sentra from $17,400. And the all-new Kicks from $17,995. Now you can have the Nissan style, performance, and reliability, all for under $20,000.
And they're all here at Town Nissan, up behind Costco in East Wenatchee.
Boating in the Wenatchee Valley starts at Bob File Boats and Motors. If you're ready for a party on the water, check out the line of Sylvan pontoon boats at Bob File Boats and Motors. Plush chairs at the rear fishing station will have you casting in comfort, and your friends and family who aren't so interested in what the fish have to offer can lounge on luxurious furniture in the front. See the Sylvan line of pontoon boats at Bob File Boats and Motors on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee or online at bobfile.com.
Bob File Boats and Motors, we're dealing. Bob File's gonna make you smile.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Well, Welcome back. And in other news, local fire crews got a handle yesterday quickly on a brush fire burning 14 miles south of Wenatchee. The fire on Tarpiskin Road scorched about 7 acres, but Chillon County Fire District 1 received aid from a State Department of Natural Resources helicopter to contain the blaze. The fire broke out shortly after 12:30 in the afternoon. No one was injured and no structures were damaged. Traffic was blocked on Highway 2 at Cashmere for about a half an hour Wednesday afternoon after a recreational boat came off its trailer and then onto the highway. The Washington State Patrol said that wayward boat damaged some Washington Department of Transportation property at the intersection with Hay Canyon Road. The accident was reported about 4:30 p.m. and the highway was completely reopened by shortly after 5. Crews from several agencies are in the area working on Goodwin Bridge replacement project. Destruction of the old bridge is scheduled for later this month. Well, police chiefs from Okanagan County are part of Congressman Dan Newhouse's new law enforcement working group set up in response to criticisms of policing after the death of George Floyd and others in police custody around the nation. Okanagan County Sheriff Tony Hawley and Twist Police Chief Paul Boudreau are part of the 10-member task force. Newhouse says they'll talk about improvements that could be made in the way police serve their communities. President Trump targeted Washington Governor Jay Inslee and Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkan in a pair of tweets Wednesday night, saying they need to take back Seattle from protesters or he'll do it for them. After the Seattle Police Department boarded up and abandoned the Capitol Hill precinct this week, protesters set up barricades in the area, closing off several blocks that are calling the Capitol Hill an autonomous zone. Trump accused Inslee and Durkan of allowing domestic terrorists to take over Seattle. Durkan responded with a tweet of her own telling the president to go back to his bunker. Inslee protested that Trump should stay out of Washingtonians' business. Earlier Wednesday at a press conference, Inslee said he'd not heard anything about an autonomous zone in Seattle. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's features story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Aging and Adult Care offers many in-home care options and services for seniors and family caregivers. But did you know they also offer free in-home delivered meals? Aging and Adult Care has expanded its program for home-delivered meals to help elderly and vulnerable adults at this challenging time. If you are in need of prepared meals or know someone who could benefit, call Aging and Adult Care for more information about free home-delivered meals. Call 509-886-0700.
The 2 hottest pickups in America are at Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. First, the Ram 1500 with back-to-back Truck of the Year awards from Motor Trend, and now the Car and Driver 10 Best list for 2020. They call it a luxury sedan with pickup capabilities. Ram is on a roll now with third-generation eco-diesel power. Next up, the Jeep Gladiator, also a 2020 10 Best model based on the new award-winning Jeep Wrangler. It has options and capabilities that no other truck can offer. 2 more reasons when it comes to buying a truck, there's no reason to leave town.
Traditional values and innovation in honoring the life of each family we serve is part of the ministry of Heritage Memorial Chapel. Our staff is committed to walk with your family with compassion through this time of grief. We are here to help and here to serve, the right kind of help when you need it most. Heritage Memorial Chapel.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. In tonight's features story, part 2 of Ben Holton's series of on-camera interviews with some people at last weekend's Black Lives Matter demonstration in Wenatchee. He asked, what's it like living in the Wenatchee area as an African American? Tonight we hear from Walter from Quincy.
So we're here in Wenatchee, Washington. And here in Wenatchee, it's, less than 1% of the people are black. And, really I wanted to come out and just see what's it like to be that person. I realized that, there's probably a lot of us that, don't feel like that we're doing anything racist or we don't feel racist. Does the black community feel included? And I want to make sure, like everybody feels that this is a good place to live. And so we're just here asking stories, just finding out, what it's like to be a black person living in our community, and are we doing a good job to make sure that they're included, and are we making our community a better place to live for everyone?
So Quincy growing up for me, I would definitely say my childhood was a little bit different than most. My father, who's black, he was born in Mississippi, grew up in Mississippi during the rioting, in the 40s, 50s. Ended up meeting my mom, who's white, in Chicago. And then they had me, and then I think it was about 1985 we came out to Quincy. And right away, I could tell that Quincy wasn't Chicago anymore. And so meeting people wasn't as easy, just because they weren't always readily available. I think it was about junior high, I actually asked a couple of my good friends, why it took so long to become friends with them. And they told me straight up it was because I was black. And, they didn't know how to approach me, or, just things they have heard, stereotypes they had heard. And passed down from generations, like their parents didn't necessarily want them hanging around a black kid. So when I heard that, I was kind of in shock, because I really didn't think that was an issue in this small town. In Quincy, there was myself and my dad, and maybe one other black person that would come and go. They would never really stay. So, and that really goes for this whole area, Ephrata, Moses Lake, Wenatchee. You could probably count the number of black people on two hands in this whole area. So over the years, it's obviously gotten a little bit more diverse, but when I was growing up, it was pretty difficult.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast with that weekend in sight. We'll get to those details in a second, but first, how about a beautiful shot outside our weather window? Does it get any more beautiful than that? That is our PTZ camera, our Sky-Fi Tower camera up at Lake Wenatchee right here, Kaler Glen Golf Course, and you can see beautiful Lake Wenatchee back here. A lot of clouds and some showers around North Central Washington. We did see that throughout the afternoon today. Not so much here in the Wenatchee Valley proper, but all around us. Some scattered showers and a lot of low-hanging clouds out there. We're not done with the thunderstorm activity yet. We'll talk about that in a second. But high temperatures today got very mild. In fact, right where we should be for this time of year, 77 unofficially, and that's exactly our normal high temperature for now. 56 is where we started, pretty close to our normal low as well at 54 degrees. Record high, that was set in 1986 at 93 degrees. Record low, 1990, and that was 40 degrees for an overnight low record. Trace of precipitation, that was overnight. That keeps us now at 2.52 inches for the year. Sunrise 5:04, and the sun will set tonight at 8:58. Taking a peek at our Friday weather as we look around North Central Washington. As I mentioned, lots of clouds out there for Friday once again, and an even better chance for afternoon thunderstorms around our area, but very mild. 81 Moses Lake, 80 in Ephrata, almost 80 for Quincy, mid-70s for you folks in Ellensburg, upper 70s then, Cashmere, Wenatchee, and all the way up Highway 97 till you get to Omak. Beautiful day also in Leavenworth with a high tomorrow of 74, but keep your eye on the sky for those thunderstorms. Taking a look at surface loop now, beginning with tonight. We'll take you through the next 7 days. Mostly cloudy skies. Still going to keep about a 40% chance of showers in our forecast, and it will be mild overnight. We're talking lows tonight near 60 degrees, so it will be a nice one. As we get into Friday, breezy conditions. Yeah, we'll see northwest winds about 10 to 20 miles an hour. A 50% chance for showers or thunderstorms. There was the wind we talked about, and there's the thunderstorm line. Will it move over into the Wenatchee area and maybe into Moses Lake? We'll have to wait and see until tomorrow afternoon. For Saturday then, mostly cloudy as we kick off our weekend. Maybe an isolated shower or two on Saturday. It will definitely be cooler with temperatures only in the 60s. How about 50s here in the Cascades for high temperatures on Saturday? As we get into Sunday, we do see more sun. Mostly sunny skies to end the weekend. It will be a little bit breezy. You can see those isobars tightly packed, and it'll stay cool too. Once again, temperatures mainly in the 60s. 60s as we end the weekend on Sunday. And then for Monday, mostly cloudy skies, a 30% chance for showers. And that's really the only wet weather as we get into next week. But that will be from that westerly flow that's moving through. Not a favorable flow for us here in north central Washington. So I don't think we're going to see a lot of rain on Monday. But Tuesday, partly cloudy skies will stay a little bit cooler than normal. Keep in mind our normal 77 will probably be in the lower 70s as we get into the first part of next week. Wednesday, partly cloudy, and that's where we'll see a bit of a warm up with high temperatures then getting back to normal. Let's take a look now at your Patriot Plumbing, Heating and Cooling 7-day forecast. There's that mild overnight low tonight at 58 degrees, 78 tomorrow, 50% chance of rain. Cooler on both Saturday and Sunday, upper 60s and lower 70s, and then a slow warm up as we make our way into next week. And by Wednesday, partly cloudy and 76. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support. And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Thursday to you, staying home and staying healthy. Eric Granstrom on the NCWLIFE channel. Well, we're teaming up with Wenatchee Valley's Super Oval to bring you the first race of the 2020 season. We met up at the Oval with manager Jeremy Anders to work out the details this morning.
June 27th, we are going to go racing here at Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. No fans in the stands. We're hoping that will come here in a later time as we work on that kind of stuff. But June 27th, we're going to racing. We're going to have the Jerry's Auto Supply Pro Late models, the Dixie and Air Conditioning Thunder cars, the Plum Perfect Roadrunners, and the Bandoleros. So those are our divisions we're racing right now. We're going to have details, like I said, later coming up on our website, wvso.com. Drivers need to pre-register on there to get your spot reserved. So drivers will pre-register on there. And then we'll have all the details of the times like that. It's going to be kind of an abbreviated night than we would on a normal night. And like I said, more details. But Eric, racing coming to NCWLIFE.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's been a long time without sports for everybody, including us at the NCWLIFE channel. So when Jeremy sent me a message here late the other night, said, hey, call me, I got an idea. I kind of had a feeling that it might be something like this. So sans the fans for now, but happy to have NCWLIFE involved with the Super Oval and get a chance to show some racing on TV.
Yeah, and we're not just talking like a one camera shoot, looking like a 3, 4, maybe 5 camera shoot. It's going to be intense action for all the people. So if you can't make it here to the races as a driver or a pit crew to be down in the pits, you're going to have all the action right there on your screen, streaming live, I think on your website and Facebook. Yeah. So it's gonna be great. We're excited about it. Great way for I always get people that are on normal races that want to have their family back back east or in California be able to watch the races. Well, now they're gonna have that, and then their family that's close to home can stay at home and drink yourself an ice cold Pepsi or an ice cold Budweiser from your couch and watch it. Plus, we're gonna have some interaction things to go on as well.
Again, that race will be Saturday, June 27th. We'll start the broadcast at 6 o'clock here on the NCWLIFE channel. The WIAA says fall sports will go ahead as scheduled pretty much no matter what. In its June 7th meeting, the executive board set guidelines regarding the anticipated reopening of schools and activities for the upcoming school year. This was done by answering 4 questions that were formulated by the National Federation of High Schools. The first question, will the WIAA conduct a regular season or championship if schools statewide are closed to in-person education? Yes, the answer, assuming that the Department of Health supports the recommendation. At this time, the WIAA plans to begin the fall season as scheduled, but is also examining a delayed start of September 7th with football on September 5th. Will there be sports and activities in the fall if some schools are closed in COVID-19 hotspots in our state? Although not ideal, yes. Question 3, will there be sports and activities deemed lower risk for COVID-19 transmission while canceling considered higher risk sports? WIAA intends to conduct all scheduled fall athletics and activities that are approved by the Department of Health. 4, could there be any modified seasons or rules? Yes, the WIAA intends to create work groups to recommend and evaluate modifications to the rules. So, sports moving ahead this fall in high schools here in Washington. Well, the Mariners used their 6th overall pick yesterday in the draft to select right-handed pitcher Emerson Hancock. The 21-year-old out of Georgia becomes the 3rd straight first-round pitcher chosen by the Mariners in the last 3 drafts. Amateur scouting director Scott Hunter very pleased with Seattle's selection.
Unbelievable track record in the SEC, 6'4", 215 pounds. True power arm with the ability to have a chance, with ability and a body that's physically built to last for innings and pitch at the top of the rotation. We're really excited going into a season like this that we would even have a shot at Emerson, since probably midway through last year, towards the end of the season, he was considered to be in contention for the first pick in this year's draft. So once again, our scouts did a wonderful job.
Seattle will have 5 more picks in today's final 4 rounds of the Major League Baseball draft. Well, Detroit made 3rd baseman Spencer Torkelson the number 1 overall selection of yesterday's draft. The Arizona State Sun Devil joins the likes of David Price, Steven Strasburg, Bryce Harper as number 1 pick. Here's a look at the top 5 selections in yesterday's draft by the Orioles, Marlins, Royals, and Blue Jays. In 30 selections, 19 were collegiate players, 11 high school graduates, 11 pitchers, 10 infielders, 6 outfielders, and 3 catchers chosen in the first round. The draft continues today with rounds 2 through 5. Well, a very bearded Ian Sanderson joined Dan Kuntz this morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley to talk about baseball. He was hired in September to lead the Apple Sox. Of course, this season wiped out by the pandemic, but they still hope to have some sort of a training camp here this summer.
We're going to offer some training 3 to 4 days a week in Wenatchee, and then we're going to try to set up, I guess the best way we've come up for is more of a sandlot type baseball. Get as many guys, high school guys and college guys. I think it's important to involve all baseball players that missed out this year. Give them an opportunity to get on a field.
You can watch Dan's entire interview online at NCWLIFE.com. Just click on full episodes and Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Hey, don't forget, we have high school graduations, more to come starting tonight. Westside High School's graduation ceremony, 7 o'clock tonight here on the NCWLIFE channel. We'll have Eastmont's rebroadcast tomorrow at 7. Then Saturday, watch Wenatchee's at 2, Cascade at 5, and Quincy at 7 o'clock here on your home for graduation in the class of 2020. I'm Eric Granstrom with that Sports News. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. Now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. Tomorrow is Friday. We love Fridays around here because Fridays are immediately followed by Saturdays, which in turn are followed by Sundays. And here in the Northern Hemisphere, Saturdays and Sundays bookend together is what we call a weekend. And we'll get your weekend going with everything you need, including news, weather, sports, a little fun, a little frivolity, a little information. Get your day going live and local, 7 a.m. tomorrow morning for a Friday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Grant, back to you.
We'll be watching Dan. Thanks. And before we close things out tonight, I do want to wish my daughter Madison a very happy 21st birthday. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.
The world around us is constantly changing. Major employers in North Central Washington have expressed a need for capable, qualified engineering technologists who can think critically and solve problems. And at Wenatchee Valley College, we listened. We are pleased to offer a Bachelor of Applied Science Engineering Technology degree to provide you with a world of new opportunities. Your time is now. The future is waiting for you.